Folks, what if I told you there is a chief economist that is actually warning, yes, warning that the next Fed move will be up, not down? How could that be? Well, we're going to talk about that and more with a 12-year Wall Street veteran. Taylor, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great. I will tell you, if that happens, there will be an apocalypse in the market.
Yeah. So let's strawman this or steelman this and basically say how she could be right. Because again, I don't think either you or I think the next rate move will be up, but I'm not going to say it's a zero chance. Yeah. So let's give her some props. This is Lindsay. I'm going to say Pigza. She is the chief economist at Stifel. He is basically highlighting that, folks, you got to pay attention to shelter. Shelter is obviously the largest contributor to CPI. Shelter came in 4% the last reading. We do get a reading next week. We'll see if that continues. She also says that tariffs will be inflationary, at least in the short term. Lastly, Jeffrey Roach, another economist, says that the PCE reading that we got on Friday, which again, headline came in at 2.1, a whisper within the 2-point target, is the low point for 2025, and it's going to get worse from here. So, Taylor, again, we will steelman this and basically say, how does stuff need to roll out over the next 3 to 5 months to get the Fed to raise rates versus lower them? What do you think is the first thing that has to happen?
I think the easiest thing to point to is Walmart. Walmart has come out and said, listen, we are going to pass through costs to our consumer. And if we start to pass through costs, companies are going to see prices start to yank upwards. Inflationary pressures are going to push. I mean, in nothing short of looking at tariffs on just face value, they are inflationary. Just face value. And you don't think about second derivative of how things actually play out. This is a cost pressure that comes when we import a good that will be passed at some point along to the end consumer. That's inflation.
No, I think it's a great call. The other thing, when I step back from a macro perspective, and I've been warning my channel for 6 months that the next 90 days were coming, we have this little flat period in how inflation was calculated this month, next month, and the one after that's called the base effect. And we actually had one deflationary month in there. So again, we just have bad comparisons. And the thing that I think has to happen over the next 90 days is, PCE could go from 2.1 to 2.5 really easy, right? Even 2.6 over the next 3 months. And that's just going to look like inflation is coming back. So I think that story builds on itself. Again, people will suddenly start talking about 1981, 1982, which was a horrible period where inflation was coming down and then ripped higher. So get ready for that talk over the next 90 days. And then you roll into that, to your point, Walmart and others, where even if they increase, small, but you do that on top of an already bad math, it's just going to make inflation look like it's rearing its ugly head again. And the Fed's like, oops, guess that's the most important.
Right. Yeah. And it's funny. I mean, the Fed has stayed stubbornly on the fact that we're going to watch the data. And so to your point, if last year's data comes in at a point where there was no inflation or even in fact some deflation, those month over month, year over year comparisons, let me be clear, just get tougher and tougher.
Yeah.
And again, just looking at things in a vacuum, prices go higher on tariffs. Just call a spade a spade.
Yeah, the other thing that I think is interesting, again, we're trying to steelman the idea that the next move is up, not down. I think on top of that, not only do we have rising inflation for the next 3 to 5 months, but I also have to say that the job market stays robust, right? Unemployment stays at or below 4.3, right? We don't get to the Fed target of 4.4. So again, if inflation, goes from 2.1 to 2.6 and the unemployment rate stays at 4.2, again, that's going to give the Fed ammunition to say, job market's not the problem. Stable employment's not the problem. It's prices. And that could cause a rate increase.
And the job market has remained remarkably strong on a historic basis. You do see something concerning that might be early signs of potential weakening, and that is the continuing claims.
Amen. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah. So that's just, hey, how many people are continuing to remain unemployed has been moving higher. What has not been moving higher is initial claims, which is what more people look at. Hey, when does this person first get fired? The next week, they become an initial jobless claim. But after that, they move immediately to the continuing claims. And you can see it in two ways. So continuing claims are moving higher. And then also looking at the other side of it from a hiring perspective, you're seeing job openings come down. So that's indicative of just, okay, not everyone's getting laid off, but the folks that are getting laid off, they're not getting hired quickly because there's no jobs available relative to what it was a year, 2 years ago, where that number was just astoundingly high.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because again, I've been warning my audience that 2025 is not going to be about the unemployment rate, because again, I think we have a lot of people, a lot of companies that are just deciding to hold on to people and kind of wait. But we're going to have an economy where it's duration, where if you are one of the folks that get that pink notice or the note, it's going to take time. Yeah. So I think we just put in a cycle high last week of 1.91, I believe. We're going to 2 million. We might see 3 million in this cycle. Even if the unemployment rate stays below 4.5, the continuing claims could go up 50%, and that'll be a problem.
And I think probably everyone that's listening to this anecdotally can think of someone that they feel is a talented employee that is looking for a job right now. And it's like, okay, I would hire this person. That's the person that we're concerned with, a productive employee that cannot find a job that is suitable to them, because it's a mismatch right now where either the job isn't good enough for that particular skill set, or that person just not finding. Yeah, I mean, you get the point there. The person just not finding a job is a real problem.
Yeah, and then the last thing I'll talk about is I kind of play with this steel man of how we get a rate increase, not a rate cut, is we have to have strong GDP growth. I'm talking probably 3% and above for multiple quarters. So again, if the unemployment rate stays at 4.2, if inflation goes higher and GDP is 3+, Q2, Q3, frankly, I don't know how the Fed doesn't raise rates. What do you think?
Yeah, that's the one I struggle with. I just can't foresee how GDP could pop like that. GDP is a weird measurement. Like, we saw that there was massive imports in the first quarter, which is a negative. And so therefore you had a negative GDP print in Q1. I also look at the Bureau of Economic Activity. What they do is they actually measure corporate profits, and corporate profits from the Bureau of Economic Activity come immediately from tax receipts. So that's live data where people can go to jail if they're not reporting correctly. And in the first quarter of this year, the initial estimate is that corporate profits were down $100 billion, which is big, right? So that's a reduction of 2.9%. And that's not annualized. That's on the quarter of negative 2.9% on corporate profits. And so what we saw was just this massive inventory stack. So people brought stuff into the country buying ahead of tariffs, and now they have this glut of inventory sitting on their shelves, which is a cost pressure, and it's not selling through at this point. And so you're starting to see a little weakening in the consumer in spending. And so if that continues, what you're going to have is corporate profits continue to be squeezed as they have to, I guess this creates the other side of the argument, actually drop costs in order to push things through.
Yeah, because so we'll stop the steel man now. I think you and I are still on the front that tariffs are going to ultimately, in hindsight, be proven to be demand destruction, which then leads to price, at least disinflation and maybe outright deflation. Correct. Right? We've seen deflation, for example, in airline prices or airline tickets is a real example. So, when you step back and look at this, is the chance that the next Fed move is up 0 in your opinion, or just a really low number?
Darn near zero.
Sub 2%?
Yeah. So one, the Fed has to start walking the market in the direction that it's trying to take it. And Agreed. The Fed is undoubtedly walking towards rate cuts right now. They are saying that we're going to remain on this no movement cycle until the
wait and see.
Mr. Too Late is going to wait and see. But they have to start walking the market, and they certainly have not started to walk towards a rate hike. That has been completely out of the cards, off the table. If Jerome Powell mentions that, the market's going to go berserk.
Yeah. I'm not going to say it's 0, because I think what will happen over the next 3 months as inflation starts to percolate and go higher just because of math, they're going to start to get questions about, is inflation coming back? Is this the tariff, fall through that we were warning about? No, people, it's math, right? But they're going to be asked. And
I think most of the Fed presidents right now that are speaking, and by the way, they are vying for Jerome Powell's job, right?
No doubt. I think Waller is in the running. Waller wants that job.
Yeah, totally. And so he is out speaking on the rate cut side. that they're getting closer to rate cuts. And you do have to kind of get creative in parsing data to find where you want to cut. It's more a function of being forward looking, which is what the Fed certainly does not want to do. They have no interest in that. They've made that very clear.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think we could very easily see over the next 90 days where the Fed gets asked questions about why is inflation increasing? Is this the tariff pull through? And you may see a couple of Fed presidents start, to your point, walking us towards the possibility of a rate increase. So that's where I'm at. I do think it's less than 10%. I do not think it's less than 2%, but I'll say it's less than 10%. Taylor, where can people find you?
Yeah, find us at Life Goal Investments. We're on both Instagram and TikTok daily at Life Goal Investments.
Did you have some closing thoughts? Didn't mean to cut you
off.
off.
I was just going to say, like, close your eyes right now and tell me two things. Unemployment is really, really low, and inflation has the chance of going higher. Like, rate hikes don't sound crazy if you just look at that. There's no doubt about it.
Love it, man. Take care of yourself. Thanks again. And please send him a note on Instagram. Tell him thank you for coming on ORAT. We appreciate him.